I died choking on my own blood. The metallic tang flooding my mouth as Ethan's hands, those same hands that once traced promises across my skin, pressed a pillow over my face. "It's for us, Addie," he whispered, his voice cracking like cheap whiskey, while Lila, my best friend since sorority days, held my ankles down, her manicured nails digging into my flesh like accusations I never saw coming. But death wasn't the end. It was a goddamn reset button, slamming me back into my 25-year-old body, 3 years before that betrayal, with the echo of their laughter still ringing in my ears like a siren's call to war. The first breath I took in that reborn life was a gasp that rattled my ribs, the sterile hum of my old apartment's AC unit greeting me like a slap from fate. Seattle's summer haze filtered through the blinds. July 2022. And I bolted upright in bed, sheets tangled around me like the lies I'd soon unravel. My hands, younger, unscarred, flew to my throat, feeling for the phantom crush that had snuffed me out at 28. Married and miserable, poisoned not just by hemlock in my wine, but by the venom of the two people I trusted most. I stumbled to the bathroom mirror, staring at the reflection of Adeline Harper. Pre-Ethan. Pre-Lila's sisterhood vows. My dark curls wild and eyes wide with the knowledge of graves yet to be dug. "Not this time," I muttered, the words tasting like steel. I clawed my way back from oblivion for one reason: revenge. Not the tidy, movie of the week kind, but the raw, American dream gone nightmare sort, messy, controversial, the kind that leaves scorch marks on your soul and questions in courtrooms. That morning, I called in sick to my job at the marketing firm, some bullshit excuse about food poisoning, and spent the day pacing my one-bedroom in Capitol Hill, the city's pulse throbbing outside like a migraine. The memories flooded in waves. Our wedding in the San Juan Islands, Ethan's boyish grin as he slipped the ring on my finger, Lila toasting us with champagne flutes that hit her envy like a loaded gun. They'd been lovers for years. I knew now. Their affair a ticking bomb I'd ignored in my first life, too blinded by the fairy tale to see the rot. But the suitcase, that was the detonator. In my dying haze, as the light faded, I'd glimpsed it in the corner of our bedroom closet, tucked behind shoeboxes like a guilty secret. Black leather, monogrammed AH. In elegant script, bought on a whim during a girls' trip to New York with Lila. I'd found it by accident one night after a fight with Ethan, prying open the lock with a paperclip out of sheer boredom and spite. Inside, not affair Polaroids or love letters, but something far worse. Documents. Yellowed pages from a law firm in Boston, stamped with seals that screamed old money. My mother's will, revised just before her car accident 10 years prior, leaving everything to me, Adeline Harper, sole heir to the Harper Steel fortune, a conglomerate worth north of $50 million that I'd never known about because Lila's father, the family lawyer, had buried it deeper than a mob hit. The shocking secret? I wasn't just an heiress, I was the key to their empire's collapse. Mom had discovered embezzlement, Lila's dad siphoning funds to cover gambling debts, and named me trustee to expose it upon her death. But Lila, interning at the firm that summer, had intercepted the documents, forged a codicil disinheriting me, and planted the suitcase as evidence for later blackmail. Ethan? He'd been her pawn from college, seduced into the plot when they learned of my inheritance. They'd killed me to tie up loose ends, staging it as suicide after discovering my affair with a colleague, pure fiction to discredit me in probate court. Now, reborn, I had the power of hindsight. No more playing the wide-eyed wife. I'd rewrite the script, starting with that suitcase. I dug through my closet, heart pounding like a bass drop at a Sounders game. And there it was, untouched, waiting like a loaded revolver. The lock clicked open under my trembling fingers, and the papers spilled out. The will, bank statements showing the siphoned millions funneled to offshore accounts in Ethan's name. Even a grainy photo of the three of us at a bar. My smile oblivious. "You bitches," I hissed, crumpling the edge of a page. This was my ammo. First move, distance myself from the poison ivy. I texted Lila, God, the irony of her contact photo. Us in matching flannels at a pumpkin patch, and canceled our planned brunch. Family emergency, I lied, the words flipping like a switch. She replied with heart emojis and call me, Red Heart, but I could hear the fake concern in my head, the way she'd probe for weaknesses. Ethan was easier. We weren't dating yet in this timeline, just talking after meeting at a networking event. I'd ghost him cold, but not before planting seeds of doubt. By afternoon, I was at a coffee shop on Pike Street, nursing a black Americano strong enough to strip paint, scrolling Zillow for apartments farther out, Ballard. Maybe. Where the water's edge could drown my old ghosts. My phone buzzed, a LinkedIn request from Ethan Caldwell. His profile pic all chiseled jaw and startup swagger. Heard you're killing it at the firm. Drinks, the message read. I typed back. Fingers flying with rehearsed venom. Sure. But only if you spill on that shady investor you mentioned. I smell opportunity. Hook. Line. Sinker. Let him think I was the mark. That night, insomnia hit like a freight train. I lay in the dark, replaying my death, the way Lila's eyes, hazel, always so warm, had gleamed with triumph as I gurgled protests. You were always too trusting. Addie, she'd said, wiping a fake tear. Ethan had sobbed afterward. Or so the cops reported. But it was theater. They'd split the inheritance, bought a condo in Belltown, posted Insta pics of new beginnings over my grave. Rage boiled in my veins, hot as Seattle's rare heat waves. Revenge wasn't just payback, it was excavation, digging up their sins and burying them alive. Day 2 dawned gray. The city shrouded in marine layer, like my mood. I hit the gym, pounding the treadmill until my lungs burned, channeling the fury into every stride. Sweat stung my eyes, but it was cathartic, a baptism in salt and spite. Post-workout, I drove to my mom's old storage unit in South Park, ironic, given the industrial decay mirroring my soul. The lease was still in my name. I'd renewed it blindly in Life One. Inside, amid dusty furniture and forgotten photo albums, I found the box, Mom's files, the ones she'd squirreled away before the accident on I-5. Her Volvo crumpling like tin foil courtesy of tampered brakes, Lila's dad's handiwork. I'd bet my ghost on it. Cross-referencing with the suitcase docs, the puzzle sharpened. Embezzlement wasn't just theft, it was murder. Mom had confronted him, threatened exposure, and paid with her life. I'd been 22, fresh out of UW, too grief-stricken to question the official story. Now, I'd weaponize it. But caution first, I scanned everything onto an encrypted drive, emailed copies to a burner account, and shredded the originals. Paranoia was my new best friend. Ethan's date was at a dive bar in Fremont, neon signs buzzing like angry hornets. He arrived late, all apologies and craft IPAs, his cologne sandalwood. Ugh, wafting like a red flag. We talk shop, his fintech startup, my marketing gigs. But I steered it, dropping casual barbs. Heard your silent partner has eclectic tastes, offshore vibes. His laugh was too quick, eyes flicking to his phone. Bingo. Lila's texts, no doubt. I leaned in, playing flirt, my hand brushing his knee. Tell me more. I like a man with secrets. He bit, spilling just enough, vague nods to creative accounting, before clamming up. I filed it away, the first crack in his facade. Lila was trickier. She crashed my office that Friday, all blonde highlights and yoga pants, bearing lattes like peace offerings. Missed you, babe. What's with the radio silence? Her hug was vice-tight, probing. I pulled back, forcing a smile. Just processing stuff. Family ghosts. You know. Her brow furrowed, perfect actress, and she launched into her spiel. Job woes at daddy's firm. Boy troubles, huh? I nodded. But inside, I catalogued the micro-twitch when I mentioned old Will's, the way she steered clear of mom's name. Hey, remember that trip to NYC? The suitcase you got me? I asked, casual as fog. Her pupils dilated. Oh, yeah. Still using it. Lie. She'd never seen it post-plot. As she chattered, I decided, controversial move one. I'd seduce the truth out of her world. Not Ethan, not yet, but her dad. Victor Langford. The silver fox with a predator's smile. I'd met him once. At a holiday party, he'd leered just enough to fuel this fire. In my old life, I dismissed it as creepy uncle vibes. Now, leverage. I'd accidentally bump into him at the next bar association gala. Play the ingenue with a twist of venom. Risky? Hell yes. Ethically gray? Midnight black. But in America's cutthroat Game of Thrones, nice girls finish last in coffins. Weeks blurred into a calculated dance. I quit the firm, too many eyes, too close to Lila's network, and pivoted to freelance, building a war chest from gigs that paid in crypto. Untraceable. Ethan pursued harder. Texts laced with charm offensive. You're different. Addie. Fiercer. I like it. I fed him crumbs. Dates that ended with teasing kisses and zero commitment. Watching him squirm. Lila? I kept her at arm's length. Busy, excuses masking my reconnaissance. I hired a PI on the down low. Ex-cop named Ruiz. Cash only to tail them. First report, late-night meetups at a Fremont motel. Ethan's beater parked beside Lila's Prius. No footage, but the implication screamed. The gala loomed, black tie affair at the Four Seasons. Victor Langford's kingdom. I slipped into a crimson sheath that hugged like accusation. Diamonds from mom's safe, real ones. Not the cubic zirconia I'd worn before, glinting at my throat. Ethan wanted to escort, I demurred. Girls' night, I lied. Inside, chandeliers dripped opulence. The elite swirling like sharks in suits. Victor spotted me across the room, his paunch straining the tux, eyes lighting like a kid at Christmas. Adeline Harper, little Addie, all grown up. His handshake lingered. Clammy. We talked legacy, Harper Steele's glory days. Mom's tragic loss. I sipped champagne, feigning nostalgia. She left papers, you know. Loose ends. His jowl twitched. Anything I can help with? Hook set. I confided. Vague hints of discrepancies. My concern for the estate. He blanched, offered his card. Call anytime.
Dear.
I did. Midnight that night. Voice husky from wine. Can't sleep. Victor. Need advice. Privately. His address came quick. Penthouse in downtown. View of the Sound like a conqueror's throne. The affair, if you could call calculated conquest, that was a masterclass in revulsion. His place reeked of cigar ash and entitlement, walls lined with law tomes and nudes that screamed midlife crisis. We didn't fuck on the first night. I made him wait. Teasing over scotch. Dropping breadcrumbs about the will. Found something odd. Signatures don't match. He deflected, hands roaming. But I saw the sweat. By visit 3. Clothes shed. I had him, panting, vulnerable, whispering confessions between thrusts. Your mother.
Pushy.
The codicil was mercy. Mercy? For a murderer. I recorded it all. Phone hidden in my purse. The app wearing silent witness. But revenge's blade cuts both ways. Guilt gnawed at me in the shower after. Hot water scalding away his touch. But not the stain. Was I better than them? Seduction as weapon. Age gap taboo in polite society. This was the controversial edge. The line I'd crossed for justice. America loves its antiheroes. But up close, they bleed. Still, I pressed on. Ruiz's next dossier, Ethan pitching innovative funding to VCs. Numbers padded with Harper ghost money. Lila forging docs in her dad's office. Late nights blurred by wine coolers. Climax brewed in autumn leaves. October's chill mirroring my resolve. I confronted Ethan first, at his startup's launch party. A hipster warehouse in Soto. Fairy lights and finger foods masking desperation. He pulled me into a storage room. All urgency. Marry me.
Addie. Now.
I need. Stability. His ring box trembled, same platinum band from Life One. I laughed. Cold as Puget Sound. Stability? Like the kind you bought with my mother's blood? His face drained. I played the tape, Victor's voice. Damning then mine. Spliced with PI photos of motel trysts. Lila sends her regards. He lunged. Feral. But I was ready, knee to groin. Ruiz bursting from shadows like a bad noir plot. Cuff him, I told the ex-cop, who grinned wolfish. Ethan spat curses. You crazy bitch. But zip ties bit deep. Lila next. I lured her to my new place in Ballard. Wine waiting. Her favorite vintage. She arrived bubbly. But my face stopped her cold. What's wrong? I poured. Spiked not with poison but truth serum metabolized fast. Loosened tongues. The suitcase. Lila. Mom's will. The brakes on her car. Her eyes widened. Denials tumbling. Then the recordings.
Photos. The full mosaic of their rot.
She cracked. Sobbing. It was Dad. He made us, Ethan and me. We just. Followed. Followed to murder? I leaned in. Voice steel. You held me down. Felt my pulse fade. Her scream echoed. But neighbors were paid off freelance perks. Ruiz again. Hauling her out in cuffs. Her pleas a siren's wail turned dirge. Twist hit like a gut punch. As cops swarmed, anonymous tip. Airtight evidence, Ethan. From holding. Confessed not just to my murder, but Mom's. And mine? A daughter. Lila's. From a one-night fling with Ethan Preemy. Hidden in foster care to protect the plot. The suitcase? I'd glimpsed adoption papers in the frenzy, but dismissed as junk.
Now.
Ruiz handed me the file. Little Mia Harper Caldwell. 6 years old. Dark curls like mine. Waiting in Tacoma for parents who never came. The courtroom was circus. Victor Despard. Sentenced to life for embezzlement and manslaughter. Lila and Ethan. 20 to life for conspiracy to murder. Mine. Mom's. Controversial? My testimony raw. Unfiltered. Admitting the seduction. Splashed headlines. Heiress's honey trap. Justice or vengeance? Pundits decried me as vigilante vixen. But polls swung sympathetic. American grit trumping pearl clutching. Ending? No tidy bow. I claimed the fortune. Shuttered the corrupt arms of Harper Steel. Funneled millions to women's shelters. Irony's kiss.
Mia?
I adopted her. Our first meeting in a park. Her tiny hand in mine like absolution. Ethan visited once in prison. Eyes hollow. Was it worth it?
I asked.
He shrugged. In another life. Maybe. But this life was mine, scarred. Controversial.
Alive.
Betrayals echo faded. Replaced by her laughter. A hook stronger than death's grip. Rebuilding wasn't linear. It was a jagged skyline. Seattle's jagged edges reflecting my fractured dawn. Mia's arrival upended everything. Tiny tornado of questions and sticky hugs. Her Aunt Addie, morphing to mommy over bedtime stories of fierce queens. Not the watered-down Disney slop. I hired a nanny. Elena, tough as nails Latina from the International District who saw through my night terrors and brewed café con leche strong enough to summon saints. Mornings, I'd watch Mia color at the kitchen island, crayon scattering like shrapnel, and wonder, was this redemption or just the universe's sick joke? The media frenzy peaked post-trial. Paparazzi swarming my gate like vultures at a roadkill buffet. Vengeance Vixen, screamed the Post-Intelligencer. Fox News dubbed me the Siren Slayer. I leaned in, controversial queen that I was, granting one interview to a podcaster in a nondescript cafe. Voice steady as I dissected the betrayal. They didn't just kill me, they erased me. This. I gestured to the empire rebuilt green. Solar panels on old steel mills. This is resurrection. Listeners ate it up. Downloads spiking. But trolls howled. She slept her way to justice. Feminism's fall. Let M. In America's arena, controversy was currency. Ethan's letters started arriving, prison stationery. His script cramped like guilt. First one, apologies. Flowery prose about lost love. I burned it in the fireplace. Flames dancing like my old rage. Second, details. The plot's genesis. College parties where Lila, sorority president, eyed my Harper glow with envy.
Ethan,
poli-sci major with daddy issues. Her easy mark. They toasted my downfall over Jaeger shots. The suitcase their talisman. I read that one twice. Annotating margins with questions for Ruiz, who chuckled over burgers. Man spilling to save his ass. Use it. Lila's were poems, bad haiku about sisters sundered, reeking of therapy speak. I forwarded them to her cell block shrink. Anonymous gift of irony. Victor? Silent. Rotting in Walla Walla. Appeals denied. But his shadow lingered. Audits revealed tendrils in City Hall. Bribes to zoning boards for Harper expansions. I went scorched earth. Whistleblowers incentivized. Feds tipped. Watching the dominoes fall from my corner office. Floor-to-ceiling windows framing the sound's moody blues. Controversial decision, too. I dated. Not for love, God. No, but armor. First guy. tech bro from a gala after-party. All algorithms and apps. We hooked up in his Tesla. Windows fogged. His whispers of Empire Queen grating like nails. Dumped him via text. Fun fact. I'm not your conquest. Next, a journalist. Sharp-eyed with a byline on my story. Dinner at Canlis turned interrogation. I flipped it, probing his sources. Off record, I said, foot teasing his calf under linen cloth. What's the real dirt on Langford? He delivered emails, buried deep, then ghosted when I wouldn't commit.
Fine.
Men were chess pieces, not kings. Mia's therapy sessions unearthed landmines. Kid psychologist.
Dr.
Patel. Gentle as chamomile. Coaxed out fragments, foster homes. Aunt Lila's visits, with candy bribes and don't-tell whispers. Mia drew pictures, stick figures with sad faces. One labeled Secret Family. I'd hold her after. Rocking on the porch swing. Fairy horns moaning in the distance. Your real family's here. Bean. I'd murmur. But doubt wormed in. Was I saving her or cursing her with my baggage? Rebirth's gift. Second chances. But echoes of first life sins. Ruiz became fixture. Uncle figure to Mia. Beer buddy to me. Over ribs at his Soto haunt. He'd update. Ethan's shank fight in the yard. Lila's breakdown on visiting day. They're ghosts.
Addie.
Let 'em haunt. But ghosts don't stay buried. Thanksgiving loomed. First without the facade. I hosted Elena's crew. Raucous. Laughter-laced and Mia's school pals. Turkey carved with theatrical flair. Yet mid-carve. Flashback hit. Life once holiday. Ethan's hand on my thigh under the table. Lila's toast to forever. Knife slipped. Nicking thumb. Blood welled. Mia's eyes wide. Mommy okay? I bandaged it.
Kissed her crown.
Stronger than steel. Kiddo. Winter bit hard. Gales rattling windows like accusations. I expanded the foundation. Harper Hope. Grants for abused women. Legal aid baked in. Board meetings in sleek conference rooms. Me at head. Suits nodding to my vision. But pushback came. Old cronies. Victor's allies. Whispering upstart bitch in elevators. Controversial move 3. I betted one. A silver-haired councilman blocking a shelter permit. Hotel suite. His toupee askew. Confessions tumbling post-coitus. Langford paid me to stall. Here's the ledger.
Blackmail?
No, leverage. Permit granted next week. He resigned amid health issues. Headlines sneered heiress's bedroom politics, but permits flowed. Ethan's trial appeal hearing was public circus. I testified again. Mia with Elena in waiting room, coloring books as shield. His lawyer painted him victim, coerced by love, but I dismantled it. Voice echoing off wood panels. Love? He chose the pillow over mercy. Jury unmoved, appeal crushed. Post-verdict. He cornered me in hall. Chains rattling. The kid, Mia. Tell her. Daddy's sorry. I met his eyes. Hollow as mine once were. She has a mom now. That's enough. Walking out. Rain sheeting courthouse steps. Freedom tasted like salt, tears or downpour. Who knew? Lila's breakdown made waves. Suicide attempt. Razor in showers. Psych eval leaked. Delusions of Adeline's ghost, haunting her dreams. Schadenfreude soured quick. I sent books via Ruiz, self-help tomes on betrayal. Underlined passages, mocking her poetry. Write better next time. Note read.
Cruel? Yeah.
but healing's a blade, honed on grudges. Spring thawed the ice. Cherry blossoms rioting pink along Lake Union. Mia's 7th birthday. Bounce house in the yard. Cake smeared on cheeks. Friends shrieking joy. I watched from deck. Champagne flute in hand, non-alcoholic. Habits die hard, feeling the weight lift. Fractionally. But night fell, and doubts crept, rebirth's cost. I'd cross lines, seductions, manipulations that mirrored their sins. Was revenge purification or pollution?
Dr.
Patel. Over coffee. Called it survivor's alchemy. Bullshit or bomb. Time would tell. Then the twist's aftershock. DNA test. Routine for adoption. Revealed more. Mia wasn't just Lila's, she was mine. IVF embryo. Stolen from my clinic records during a routine checkup, Lila finagled. They'd planned to raise her as theirs. Post-murder. The ultimate erasure. Rage reignited. But tempered, joy.
2.
My blood. My fight. I framed the report. Hung it beside Mom's portrait. Women unbroken. Summer solstice. Longest day. I scattered Mom's ashes. Delayed right. Off Alki Beach. Waves lapping like applause. Mia tossed petals. Elena hummed a lullaby. To new beginnings, I toasted the horizon. Ethan wrote last. End it.
Addie.
Parole hearing soon. I replied once. Rot. Controversial?
To the end.
But in America's unforgiving script, queens don't kneel. Life settled into rhythm, boardrooms by day, bedtime tales by night. Controversy faded to footnotes. My name's synonymous with resilience. Betrayals bonds? Snapped. Reborn. I forged iron ones. Unyielding. Monsoon season hit Seattle like divine retribution. Skies unleashing fury that mirrored the storm in my boardroom. Harper Hope's expansion, shelters from Spokane to Portland, drew fire from conservatives. Talk radio decrying feminist fiefdoms funded by blood money. I fired back on CNN. Pantsuit sharp as my tongue. Blood money? Try widow's might. Women like my mother. Crushed by men in power. We're building arcs, not empires. Ratings soared. Donations doubled. Controversy? My oxygen. But privately, it chafed. Mia overhearing snippets. Her small voice asking, "Were you bad, Mommy?" I'd scoop her up. Spin tales of warrior moms. But the seed of doubt took root. Ethan's parole hearing crept closer. Summer's heat amplifying the dread. Ruiz warned, good behavior buys sympathy. Jury of housewives might buy his sob story. I prepped. Dossier thick as a Bible. Affidavits from victims of his creative accounting. Psych reports painting sociopath brushstrokes. But the real weapon?
Mia.
Not testimony. Too young, but a letter. Her wobbly print. I have a new daddy now. The park one. Don't come. Dictated to me. Raw as scraped knees. I sealed it. Anonymous drop to the board. Lila's transfer to a psych ward in Olympia brought weird closure. I visited once, against Ruiz's growl, through plexiglass. Her orange jumpsuit clashing with pallid skin. Addie, she breathed, fogging the barrier. The dreams. You're in them. Laughing. I leaned close. Voice velvet over venom.
Good.
Remember every choke. Every lie. That's your therapy. She wept. Snotty and shattered. I walked out lighter. The visit a exorcism. Controversial? Pen pal critics called it torment tourism. Let em judge. I danced with devils. This was waltz. Dating devolved to disaster.
Post-journalist.
I swiped right on a barista, tattooed dreamer with poetry slams, but his idealism curdled quick. Your story's inspiring. But the seduction stuff? Kinda predatory. Dumped over oat milk lattes. Next, a therapist. Irony incarnate. Sessions blurring to sheets. He probed too deep. Revenge as addiction? And I bolted, blocking his number. Celibacy suited me fine. Power was aphrodisiac enough. Mia's school open house. Parents milling like cattle. One dad, divorced architect. Easy smile, lingered. Heard your TED Talk. Brave. Flirtation flickered. Harmless. But trust? Fragile as fog. Harper Steele's Centennial Gala was glitz and grit. Ballroom at the Edgewater. Salmon leaping in the aquarium walls. Elites toasting legacy. I keynote. Spotlight hot as interrogation. From shadows to steel, Harper rises. Unbreakable. Applause thundered. But backstage, Victor's ghost stirred. A whisper network. Holdouts sabotaging contracts. Whispers of Langford loyalists. Ruiz tailed one, mid-level exec, sweating bullets in a Georgetown dive. They want payback, he grunted over stakeout tacos. For the old man. Controversial decision 4. Infiltration. I went undercover. Bleach blonde wig. Fake name Sadie. Bartender gig at their haunt. Nights blurred. Pouring IPAs.
Ears pricked to barbs.
That Harper which ruined us. One slurred. Plotting leaks to rivals. I memorized faces. Fed Ruiz intel. Culmination. Spiked drink for the ringleader. Not poison but roofie's light. Truth serum redux. In alley shadows. He babbled. Bribes renewed. Aimed at tanking my stock. Cops swarmed pre-dawn. Arrests clean. Headlines. Heiress's spy game. Hero or henchwoman? Stock dipped. Then rebounded. Scandal sells. Mia's questions deepened with age. 7 going on sage. Bedtime. Why no pictures of before? I'd evade. But curiosity festered. One rainy afternoon, she unearthed the suitcase, dragged from attic storage. Lock long picked. What's this? Mommy? Paper spilled. Mom's will. My annotations. The photo of young me.
Ethan.
Lila, smiles sharp as shards. Her finger traced my face. You look sad. Heart cracked. I sat her down. Age-appropriate edit. Bad friends took something precious. But we got it back, you. She nodded. Solemn. Then, can I burn the bad parts? We did. Backyard fire pit crackling like catharsis. Ashes swirled to stars. Ethan's hearing dawned crisp. Fall leaves carpeting the courthouse like confetti for calamity. I waited in gallery. Elena minding Mia at home with promises of ice cream. His entrance, shackled,
gaunt.
Lawyer spinning yarns of rehabilitation Bible study. Janitorial gold star. Then Mia's letter. Read aloud. Her innocence a gut punch. Board deliberated hours. Denial echoed like gavel on bone. Ethan locked eyes with me across the room. Mouth twisting gratitude. Hate.
Both.
Thank you, he mouthed. I turned away. Heels clicking exit march. Post-hearing high crashed hard. Nightmares returned. Pillow over face. Lila's grip. But now Mia's cries wove in. Tiny hands prying futile. I woke screaming. Elena's hand on my shoulder. Let it out.
Mia.
Therapy followed Dr. Patel for me now. Couch confessions of rebirth's burden. You're not them, she said. You're survivor. Sessions unearth more. My own complicity in life, 1. Ignoring red flags. Ethan's temper flares. Lila's barbs for love's illusion. Forgiveness? For them.
No.
For me, work in progress. Winter holidays loomed. Mia's eyes alight for lights and lore. We decked halls, tree from a Fremont lot. Ornaments hand-painted. Mia's handprints. Mom's locket. Elena's tamales steamed kitchen warm. We invited Ruiz. His gruff toasts to badass broads. But invitation extended controversial. The architect dad.
Tom.
Dinner awkward at first, small talk over pie, but Mia bridged. Her gap-toothed grin melting ice. Play Legos, she bossed. He did. Towers rising like tentative trust. Lila's ward sent a drawing, childlike scrawl. Us as stick sisters. Hearts entwined. Forgive, note begged. I framed it. Not in love. But reminder. Monsters humanized too late. Victor died in spring, heart attack. Solitary. Obit buried in legals. No tears, just a donation to legal aid in his name. Twisted charity. Summer again. Cycles turn. Mia's swim lessons at Green Lake. Splashes syncing with my pulse. Tom lingered, picnics. Trail hikes, his steadiness a balm. First kiss. Fairy deck at sunset. Salt air and his whisper. No games. I pulled back. Earned. Not given. He nodded. Patient. Rebirth's lesson. Love as choice.
Not chain.
Twists ripple. Anonymous package. Ethan scrawl. Inside. Flash drive. Files are old love letters. Digitized. Plus one new. His suicide note draft. Dated pre-hearing. Addie freed me to face it. Chills, I deleted, but kept the weight. Controversy closed. Book deal offered. Reborn in rage. Memoir raw. I wrote. Words pouring like rain. Mia illustrating covers with fierce heroines. Life's not linear, but arcs. From death's grip to dawn's embrace, betrayed. Yes, but unbound. Autumn's palette painted Seattle in fire, maples blazing along Aurora like warnings ignored. Harper Hope's flagship shelter opened in Pioneer Square. Ribbon cut amid cheers. Mia waving scissors too big for her hands. Cameras flashed. I smiled for the lens. But inside, vigilance hummed. Old enemies' echoes. Tom's presence steadied, hand at my back. Quiet strength. We'd progressed, dinners evolving to overnights. His blueprints scattered on my drafting table. Dreams shared over dawn coffee. You're building more than walls, he'd say. Tracing my scars, literal. From the knee groin on Ethan. Metaphorical from all else. Intimacy terrified, but thawed slow, like spring on the Olympics. Mia's school play, her as fierce fox in the Gruffalo, drew full house. Elena and Ruiz hooting loudest. Backstage. Post-curtain. She beamed. Did I scare Mommy? Hugs fierce. Tom's bouquet dwarfed mine. Dinner after. Dim sum in Chinatown. Steamers popping secrets. But home. Unpacking her costume. A zipper snag pulled thread, literal unravel. Mia frowned. Everything breaks? Profound kid. I knelt. Some things mend stronger.
Kissed her forehead.
But words lingered. Mirror to my mending. Controversial Decision 5, the book. Reborn in rage, hit shelves like Grenade, bestseller lists. Oprah whispers. Chapters dissected betrayals' guts, suitcases' secrets, seduction's shame, rebirth's impossibility glossed as near-death epiphany for plausibility. Critics split, gripping catharsis versus exploitative revenge porn. Signings swarmed, women weeping thanks, men averting eyes. One night, Q&A in Elliott Bay Books. A heckler rose. You profited off pain, Lila's. Ethan's. Monster? My cot. I paused. Crowd hushed. Pain? They authored mine. This, gestured Stacks, is restitution. Applause drowned him, but hotel room later. Alone. Doubt gnawed. Monster or mirror? Ethan's second appeal, pro bono crusader sniffing new evidence, stirred sludge. Ruiz alerted. Some hack claims suppressed tapes. I lawyered up, but twist deepened. The evidence? My own words. From a life-one therapy session pre-death. Venting marital woes. Twisted to paint me suicidal. Complicit. Ethan's team spun. She knew the affair. Drove him to desperation. Bullshit. But viral. TikToks dissecting my instability. Mia shielded. But playground whispers stung. Your mom's a killer? Elena's glare quelled. But I raged internal. Controversial counter. Leaked counter tapes. Ethan's voicemails. Post-affair discovery in Life 2. Threats veiled as pleas. Don't make me do something stupid. Addie. Appeal tanked. Crusader discredited. But cost, Tom's unease. This world's eating you, he murmured over wine. I bristled. It's mine to chew. Lila's release, conditional. Psych monitored, dropped like anvil. Halfway house in Tacoma. Job at a cafe. Anklet beeping boundaries. She reached out. Letter. Handwriting steadier. Reading your book.
Proud? No.
But understand. I burned it. But Ruiz tailed her anyway, routine. Reports. Therapy groups. Barista shifts. No contact with old flames. One photo. Her at park. Watching kids. Face etched longing. Pity flickered. I quashed it. Controversial olive. Anonymous donation to her program. Strings. Write your truth. Publish undermine. Her response. Months later. Chapbook. Shadows of Sister. Raw versus owning sins. I read in secret. Tears hot. Mia's face in lines. Forgiveness glimpsed but ungrasped. Winter solstice. Shortest day. Brought Tom's proposal, not ring, but blueprint. Co-design home in Queen and views of the sound. Rooms for our chaos. Mia squealed over sketches. I hesitated. Rebirth's caution whispering flight. No rush, he said. Patient. But Christmas Eve. Snow rare and magic. We built gingerbread. His steady hands guiding hers. Laughter bubbling. Midnight mass at St. James. Candles flickering like stars. His arm around us. Home. Tree lights twinkling. I whispered yes, tentative. Earned. Spring's renewal-tested vows. Harper merger talks. Green steel with a Norwegian firm. Drew espionage. Hacked emails. Rivals sniffing Victor's old veins. I countered ruthless. Cyber team traced to a disgruntled ex. Arrested in raid. Headlines. Heiress's hackback legal? Lawyers spun vigilantism defense. Case dismissed. Tom frowned over breakfast. You're scaring me. Addie. Fight brewed. His fear versus my fire. This is who I am, I snapped. Forged in betrayal.
He softened.
Then let me forge with you. compromise, his input on security, our worlds meshing. Mia's 8th birthday, zoo trip, penguins waddling farce. But gift, a locket with mom's photo. Inside engraving unbreakable, drew tears. Like you, she said. Evening, cake candles blown. Tom's toast, to foxes and queens. Later, bedtime story twisted. My tale. Sanitized. Bad wolves bested. Forest reclaimed. She slept. I lingered. Stroking curls. Gratitude thick. Twist's final coil. Ethan's death. Overdose. Pills in cell. Note addressed me. You won. Free. Prison buzz scandal. I grieved not him, but the boy he'd been. Corrupted. Funeral?
No.
Instead, therapy breakthrough. He freed you twice, Dr. Patel mused.
Death.
Then release. Lila's attended. Per reports, black veil. Solitary. Her chapbook climbed charts, reviews hailed, redemption's whisper. We never met. But worlds brushed, my foundation funded her readings. Anonymous nod. Summer zenith. Wedding small. Beach at Golden Gardens. Mia flower girl in sundress. Elena matron with teary grin. Ruiz best man cracking dad jokes. Vows exchanged barefoot in surf. Tom's eyes locked. From blueprints to bones, yours. Ring simple. Steel bands etched with reborn. Reception. Bonfire. Esmore sticky. Dances wild. Night fell. Stars pricking velvet. We slipped away. Mia tucked with Elena. Honeymoon? Cabin in Cascades. No signals. Just pines and pulse. Lovemaking slow. Scars shared. His divorce's ache. My death's void. We're enough, he murmured. Back home. Rhythm deepened. Merged lives. Mia's Daddy Tom easy. My empire green tendrilled. Years folded. Mia teen fierce. Debating climate at school. My shadow proud. Book 2. Forged forward. Less rage. More rise. Lila faded to footnotes. Her life, quiet. Advocate now. Speaking on manipulation's web. Controversy? Scar tissue.
Toughened.
Rebirth's arc, from choked gasp to open skies. Betrayed by blood and bonds. I wove new, steel strong. Love-laced. In America's tense tapestry. I claim my thread. Unapologetic. Unbroken.